This video has two parts: the biblical depiction and archaeological evidences with alternative theories. Two cities, lost in time, once thriving, now nothing but dust and legend. But what if I told you they weren't just abandoned, they were erased by divine wrath? Sodom and Gomorrah, they are perhaps the most infamous cities of the Bible, inhabited by men and women so vile and wicked that only their utter annihilation could appease God's wrath. Genesis 19. The most well-known account describes the extreme wickedness of the people, including their violent and abusive behavior towards strangers, inhospitality, and sexual assault. They were arrogant, overfed, and unconcerned. They did not help the poor and needy. They were haughty and did detestable things. Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding towns gave themselves up to sexual immorality and perversion. The modern term sodomize is actually derived from the name of the city of Sodom. They crossed all the limits of sin against the laws of God. Abraham is the common Hebrew patriarch of the Abrahamic religions, including Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. In the Abrahamic religions, he is a common link between people and God. God informs Abraham that a great outcry against the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah had come up before him, and so he was going to destroy the cities if they were as wicked as he had heard. Abraham approached God and appealed to him, saying, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it?" Abraham had his extended family in Sodom and certainly wanted to see them protected from God's judgment. Abraham wanted God to spare the righteous people who lived in Sodom and Gomorrah. After a lot of persuasion, God finally agreed to spare the cities, even if he found 10 righteous people in it. Because Abraham's nephew was living in Sodom, God revealed plans to confirm and judge these cities. At this point, God sent 2 visitors to Sodom. When they arrived in Sodom to conduct their report, they planned on staying in the city square. Abraham's nephew, Lot, insisted that the 2 visitors stay at his house for the night. However, a group of men gathered outside, demanding to know his guests. Lot refused and instead offered his virgin daughters, but the crowd rejected his offer and tried to break down the door, confirming the city's wickedness. The destruction of the cities became inevitable now. As the morning dawned, the visitors urged Lot, saying, "Up, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away in the punishment of the city." But when Lot hesitated, the visitors grasped his hand and the hands of his wife and 2 daughters and led them safely out of the city, because of the Lord's compassion for them. When the sun had risen over the land, the Lord rained down burning sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. Thus he overthrew those cities and the entire plain, destroying all those living in the cities and also the vegetation in the land. The visitors earlier cautioned them by saying, "Escape for your life. Do not look behind you nor stay anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountains, lest you be destroyed." But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. So, that precisely is the biblical account of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Modern archaeological investigations have sought to uncover the historical and geographical realities behind the biblical cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. These endeavors have led to intriguing discoveries that may correspond with the ancient narratives. Archaeologists place Sodom and Gomorrah either to the north or south of the Dead Sea. There is substantial evidence to suggest that the biblical account of these doomed cities is more than mere legend. As Amos Frumkin proposed in his May-June 2009 BAR article on the salt pillar known as Lot's wife, the biblical story of Sodom likely preserves an ancient memory of a catastrophic event that impacted the cities and inhabitants of the Dead Sea region nearly 4,000 years ago. Archaeologists excavated 2 of the largest sites in the plain, Bab Edra and Numera, uncovering evidence that both were flourishing Bronze Age cities until their sudden destruction around 2350 BC. It has been suggested that the biblical account of Sodom and Gomorrah's destruction stems from ancient traditions, recalling the near-simultaneous downfall of these once prosperous twin cities. But whether one locates Sodom and Gomorrah, south or north of the Dead Sea, there is plenty of reason to suspect that the biblical tradition surrounding the doomed cities of the plain was more than just fanciful legend. As suggested by Amos Frumkin in his May-June 2009 Bar article on the salt pillar known as Lot's wife. The Sodom story, told in the Bible, likely represents an ancient memory of a single catastrophic event that affected the cities and peoples of the Dead Sea region nearly 4,000 years ago. One of the most shocking theories suggests that Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed by a nuclear explosion. Sound crazy? Maybe not. Some archaeologists point to Tal el-Hammam, a site near the Dead Sea where evidence of extreme heat and sudden destruction has been found. Scientists discovered that temperatures there exceeded 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to melt metal. Could this have been an ancient nuke? And if so, who set it off? An alternative theory is conceptualized by some researchers. What if Sodom and Gomorrah weren't destroyed because of their sins, but because they held secret knowledge? Some believe these cities were home to forbidden wisdom and technology that powerful beings didn't want humanity to possess. Could the fire and brimstone have been a cover-up for the destruction of something much bigger? And if so, who wanted this knowledge erased? Fire from the sky. The Bible describes fire and brimstone raining down on the cities. Could an extraterrestrial race have targeted Sodom and Gomorrah for violating some cosmic law? This destruction might not have been divine wrath, but rather a highly advanced energy weapon. Perhaps a plasma-based strike, or even a tactical nuclear explosion used by alien forces. Lot's family and genetic experimentation. The angels who warned Lot may not have been divine beings at all. Instead, they could have been extraterrestrial envoys attempting to evacuate Lot and his family. Some theorists speculate that Lot's bloodline held unique genetic traits of interest to these visitors. His wife's transformation into a pillar of salt could have been the result of exposure to radiation or an alien weapon. Many ancient texts speak of gods punishing civilizations with fire from the sky. Could these be different accounts of the same extraterrestrial intervention? The Book of Genesis might be a heavily redacted version of an event where an alien force intervened in human affairs. Was the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah an act of divine punishment, or was it an extraterrestrial surgical strike? If aliens were involved, did they see the cities as a threat? Were they enforcing their own version of cosmic law? What do you think? Were these cities destroyed by divine wrath, aliens, nuclear war, or something else? Let us know in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Until next time, keep questioning everything. Thanks for watching my video.